What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell, I'm going to be reading through your assumptions about prison, and I'm going to find them accurate or myths, and they're so good. They're so good. I've read through a few of them before sitting down, and you guys always come through. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has in fact been to prison. It's not a flex, I'm just used to saying it. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about, so let's kick this thing off. So I asked you guys on the YouTube community tab, and oh my God, your answers were great. So the first assumption is that people intentionally go out and commit crime to go back to prison. That's kind of true because there is something called institutionalized, which means you've been in prison and you've served so much time that getting out on the street is very hard. But it's a little bit different if you're institutionalized because it's not just about like the free world being difficult. It's that you can't acclimate to society in a healthy way, probably because you have no resources and you're a felon. People don't want to rent to you, hire you, give you a chance, which is really challenging when you have parole fees, court costs, fines, restitution. And I'm not saying that that is not that person's fault, because people on the internet love to be like, well, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime, or it's your own fault. I don't feel bad for you. That rhetoric on the internet is really loud. That's the whole point, is that it's so hard that I would rather do time because society makes it really difficult to get your life back together when you get out of prison. I'm not the example of prison works, and I don't know why, but people say that a lot to me in the comments, like, oh, you did it, so everyone else can. Well, no, I don't know what obstacles or what barriers someone else is struggling with. I don't know how their mental health is. Don't assume because you see some people make it and a lot that don't, that they could just do it if they worked harder, because you have no idea what's going on in their life. But that is kind of true. So when you get out, if you commit crimes intentionally to go back to prison, I guess, but in my experience, people commit crimes because they're hungry, they are addicts, they feel as though they have no choice, and a lot of it centers around money. So I guess we'll say that that is true-ish. Number 2 has a lot to do with a hot dog. And y'all, listen, I've been doing this for 4 years. I see this comment all the time. Is it true that if women are served hot dogs, they have to be cut in half so they don't masturbate with them? Now, let's just skirt past the fact that most women cannot have an orgasm through penetration alone. Okay, let's just breeze past that fact. What am I supposed to do with this? Dead ass serious. Also, when you say cut in half, what do you mean? Because this is already not a good size, you know? It's also limp-ish, you know? Like, it's not firm and it's not big. But when you say cut in half, do you mean like this? Or do you mean like this way in half? Which in half do you mean? We are not using hot dogs in jail to masturbate. We have lesbians for that, okay? And they're good at it. We also make toys. So we don't, I know that a lot of men want to think that like, this is going to get the job done. No, that's not it. No, myth. Absolutely the fuck not. That's not, that's not doing it. Let's move on, shall we? Drop the soap. And I know you guys hear this all the time. Don't drop the soap. So a prison assumption is, this is a disgusting rape joke, if you drop the soap, someone is going to come up behind you and sexually assault you. And people think it's funny to say that. They say, don't drop the soap. Now, remember, I am a woman, so my experience was in prison with women. However, I promise you, you can ask any man that's been to prison, any level of prison, don't drop the soap is just a stupid jail joke, which is not funny to me at all. But every single man that I have ever known, and I know plenty of them, between content creators, personal friends that have served decades in federal prison, state prison, all kinds of stuff, right? That's not happening. When we're in the shower and we're in like a group shower, you wash your bits and you get out, okay? And if you drop the soap, the only thing that happens is you can no longer use that soap. I know. Soap is self-cleaning. Yes, at your house maybe, not prison. It's just you don't want to. You can, but you shouldn't. pick it up and use it on your body, or rinse it off and then use it on your body, because the showers are disgusting in prison. They're slimy, there's blood, there's hair. It's not great. Not a great experience. So don't drop the soap is just this stupid jail joke that is about rape, and it's not real. That doesn't happen. This is a really good one. It's like a question, but someone's asking how they deal with STDs. So STDs in prison, this is what happens to the inmate. The inmate will probably get in trouble. Ugh, what? So if an inmate has an STD, a lot of times they're punished because they were doing things they weren't supposed to do. They're human beings and they had sex with their girlfriend. So you will probably get in trouble for that, but they treat you. They'll give you the medication that you need. Plot twist, if you are caught having sex with an officer, the inmate gets in trouble. But it's crazy because it's the officer's fault, and people justify that and spin that all day long to me. And they're like, no, it's two consenting people. Inmates can't consent. We can't defy direct orders. And I know that inmates are hella manipulative and clever and whatever. The officer in charge should be strong enough to not give in to that temptation because they're correctional officers. Anyway, yeah, STDs, you're treated, punished, but you're treated. This assumption says that it's so dangerous that you never feel safe. I would say that that is true. The reason why I hesitated a little bit is because it's not that prison is constantly dangerous. It's the fact that anyone can be dangerous at any time. It is the knowledge that when you fall asleep, you are at risk of being attacked. Open dorms were really hard for me. So that's like a gym, bunk beds, 50 people. That was really hard, especially when you see someone get jumped in their sleep a couple of times a week. And you have to toe this line of being respectful to other people, staying firm in, no, Becky, you cannot have another scoop of my Keefy coffee, not until you pay me back for the last coffee that I loaned you. So you have to stay firm in that. And also, this is the coffee. It's pretty good. Or Folgers. Any instant coffee is served in prison. Sometimes you can even get like coffee care packages or, no, you can't have a scoop. You owe me 3 scoops from last week. Scoops. They probably owed me soups. I didn't loan coffee very often. But yeah, you have to stay firm in all of that. So you have to toe that line of like being firm, letting people know they can't run all over you, having respect, and then hope you don't get jumped in your sleep. Yeah. I stepped on someone's shoe before and they got really mad. It was a Nike. So I get it. Total accident. But that's the stuff I mean. Like you can get in fights for accidents. Bump into someone and make them spill their food. She's swinging. She is swinging. If someone bumps into me and I have prison nachos, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. So it's not that prison is constantly every waking moment dangerous. It's that anyone can be dangerous at any time or mad, or you could be in a fight at any time. And that is that on edge feeling, so you can't really relax. Next assumption is if you call someone a bitch, it's automatic fighting words. This is true on the male side. On the female side, it is a little bit different. Females don't really have automatic fighting words. There are certain lines you can't cross, and there are certain moments if a woman is being disrespectful to you in prison that you have no choice to fight. For women, it's not like bitch, and then you have to fight that person. Usually they're going to say something about your kids, your family. They're going to take those emotional digs, and women are ninjas when it comes to saying things that really cut through you. I think men, no offense guys, are a little more unoriginal with the comebacks and with the jabs. Women, that shit'll hurt. They'll say some shit that hurts. And in prison, if you talk about someone's family, someone's parents, someone's kids, that's pretty much like automatic fighting scenario. That assumption is correct. It's just different if you're a man versus a woman in prison, from my experience. The next assumption is that you can't come out of prison the same. That's a good one. I would say that is correct. It does change you. It really does change you. You just see things differently after prison, after seeing people really depressed or self-harm, or when you see how mean the staff can be. When you go through that whole process of going to prison, you see how unfair the system is. Now, I think on the flip side of that, it doesn't just change you in a negative way. I think it can change you in a positive way. Like, I'm grateful for so many small things, like cold water. Some prisons have ice, some prisons don't, and the water is lukewarm. So I'm very grateful for ice cold water, or being able to walk outside whenever I want to, specifically at night. Some prisons have night rec and some prisons don't, but just being able to walk outside and sit outside at night for as long as I want to, being able to open a window, just tiny things that we take for granted all the time. I'm very, very grateful for so many things. The next assumption is prison guards bring in drugs. That is correct. There is absolutely no reason that in 2020, when all prisons canceled all of visitation and no one was coming in or out, only the guards, there was no reason why overdoses in prison went up 400% or some crazy number. You're gonna have to Google it. Don't quote me. It's because guards bring it in. And yes, there are the random over the fence scenarios when you have prisons like Indiana State Prison that's like in a town. So yeah, there are moments where that can happen, but nationwide, no, because most prisons are not in the middle of a town. They're isolated. They're out there. There is a perimeter van and there's a guard tower with a gun, like in maximum security. Guard tower, dude has a gun. They're going to see you way before you can even get up to the fence. And there's usually two fences. There's like a fence, bunch of space, barbed wire, another fence. Like they see you before you see them, probably. Oh my God, this one just says tell everyone what a fifi is. So a prison fifi. A lot of people want to talk about masturbation in prison for some reason, but a fifi is something that is for a man to masturbate, and there's a bunch of different versions for it. I'm not going to make one because I have a life. No, because I'm a woman, but I will tell you that the flip side of that, so on the female side, we make toys with a lot of different things. Soap was really popular. I've heard people making a dildo with toothbrush holder, a pad, and like gloves over that. I haven't personally seen that, or I just didn't pay attention to it. I did, however, pay attention to, I can get the gloves from medical. So if you have a toy in prison and it's made out of soap, you can't just put that into your body. It's not good for your hoo-ha. So you have to put a glove over it to protect yourself. So I would steal the gloves from medical and then I would go sell them to the people that wanted toys. I've seen them made out of like Jolly Ranchers, bars of soap, like I said. And then the toothbrush holder and pad one, I've heard that a lot. I just have never seen it. No one is using a hot dog. They're not doing that. There's a lot of stuff about prison masturbation. Maybe I have to do an entire video on it, but this person says, I was told inmates use mayonnaise for lube. No, absolutely not. No, we're not wasting condiments like that, Like we could buy lotion. There's a bunch of stuff on commissary that you can buy, like mayonnaise. No, whoever told you that is out of their whole entire mind. There is not a chance in hell I'm going to waste a single ketchup packet, mustard packet, mayonnaise. No, absolutely not. And I'm going to eat it. I'm probably going to eat it. Wasting food. We're not wasting food up in here. This assumption is that all chomos or sex offenders get what is coming to them in prison. There are chomos on the female side that walk amongst us and no one messes with them. If they're respectful, they keep to themselves. A lot of women don't think that it's worth losing your good time and going to the hole. So no, not all chomos and sex offenders get what's coming to them. And they're not all in PC either. The federal system started to make it a hate crime if you got into a fight and beat up a chomo. And they started a long time ago integrating chomos on the general population yard because they can't just PC everybody. A lot of them get it. A lot of them have a hard time, but not all of them. Some walk the yard and keep to themselves and they get out of prison unscathed. So, yep. This assumption is everyone that was found guilty and is in prison is actually guilty. That is not accurate. So a lot of times people are in prison because they accepted a plea and they just want to get it over with. They couldn't afford a lawyer, a good lawyer, high-paying lawyer. I'm not saying that public defenders can't be good lawyers. I'm saying they're overworked and underpaid, and it's very hard to give each person the time that they deserve. So plea agreements are an all-the-time thing. I've met tons of people in prison that were just there at the time of something going on. A really good example of this is I have met 4 or 5 women that their boyfriend or husband committed a murder and they were there. So now they have that murder charge. And that's for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they didn't call the cops. Maybe in their case, the prosecuting attorney was like, she's the mastermind, or she failed to report it. And what our system fails to do is protect, like anyone, but specifically here, victims of domestic violence. So if I'm in a abusive relationship, this man kills somebody in front of me, Do you think I'm going to feel like I can call the cops or run away? No, I'm probably going to be terrified. So our system does a horrible job at protecting victims of domestic violence. So I've met a lot of women that have either killed their abusers, which technically they're guilty of murder, right? Should they be there? You be the judge. Or were there at the time of the murder and didn't run out the door, call the cops. They were just there. So not everyone in prison is guilty. A lot of people take plea agreements because they can't fight it and they don't want to sit in jail anymore. So there's a lot that goes into that. But no, there are plenty of people that don't deserve to be in prison, couldn't afford a high-powered attorney, or were just there at the time a crime occurred. This assumption is that guards put bets, like they bet each other to see what inmate is doing what, like going to SAG or is going to come back to prison or whatever. That is real. Can confirm, like, oh, if these two fight, that one's going to win, or that person's going to go to SAG, or that person's coming back, or whatever. They can tell that you're in a mood. Just as much as the inmates can tell what's going on with everyone, the guards can usually tell if they're paying attention, like when shit is about to pop off, when the dorm or the unit is feeling tense. If everyone has their fucking sneakers on, okay, everyone has their sneakers on in the day room, and you can see and feel that tension, shit is about to go down, okay? It's about to go down. So yeah, guards can pick up on that, and some of them suck. And yes, they place bets. Do you know how I know? Because I was always the one that people were like, oh, she's gonna lose. She's gonna lose. She's gonna come back to prison. People were constantly betting against me like my entire life. I've always been the underdog. I'm even the underdog here on YouTube. Like I have to constantly fight YouTube for like monetization or whatever. Not a big deal. It keeps me motivated, I kind of like it. But anyway, yeah, a guard has placed a bet on me before, said that I would lose if you don't want to fight her, Kent. You don't want to fight her because you'll lose. How much money you putting down on that? How much money you got? And have I won every fight I've been in? No. Will I give that fight my all? Yes. The next assumption is that there is no joy ever. Wrong. We are cooking up spreads. If it's a holiday, it's your birthday, it's my birthday, it's Jesus' birthday, we're making a spread. We're going to party. There's parties in prison, and there is joy and there is happiness. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to sit on my bunk and cry every day. No. I'm going to hustle. It keeps my mind busy and my ass washed. You have to pay for hygiene. It gives me something to do, make sure that I'm taken care of, and I'm going to cook up some food and we're just going to have a good time. I'm probably going to do something dumb to make you laugh. I would do like stupid little skits, or I would mock or pretend to be the guard a little bit, like whatever I could to make you laugh. You know what I mean? Like there was this whole, I can't believe I'm like just now remembering this. There was this whole bit that I used to do, and it was this guard that walked a very weird kind of walk, and he always did like this gross, like sucking his snot sound, and like he chewed. So he would walk down, the aisle of the open dorm, and I would be behind him, and I would be like imitating him or mocking the way that he like is acting. Probably drank Busch Light out of a can when he got home. So I would just do like dumb stuff like that to make people laugh. So that is false. There is joy in prison. This next assumption says that if you have life and you kill someone, nothing happens to you. That is false. So if you are in prison for murder and you have a life sentence, it would make sense, if you've never experienced prison, that you could just kill anyone you wanted and nothing happens. You lose a lot of your freedom if you commit a crime in prison. And I know it doesn't make sense that like freedom in prison, if you commit another murder, guess what? You're no longer in GP, general population. You can't go to the yard, can't go to the chow hall, can't go to the library, can't go to commissary. You're put in solitary confinement. You can't use the phone. You lose all of your privileges, maybe your job. It's not smart to just commit a murder, even if you have life in prison. This next assumption is that it's easier to be a gay woman in prison than it is to be a gay man. You're going to have to ask men that, but from my experience and my circle and my friends, if you're gay, you're gay. And inmates typically, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, the inmates just accept you for that, regardless of your gender. If you're gay, then you're gay. But I think that stereotype extends outside of prison for a lot of people. I think a lot of people generalize, or they say that it's easier to be this way or that way based on your gender. And we all have it tough, right? Life is hard. It's difficult no matter what. And we all have different obstacles. But in terms of prison, if you're gay, you're accepted, just don't be an asshole. Just be respectful. Don't be shitty, and we're going to get along, This assumption is that girls cry during intake of prison. Not really. I mean, I've seen, the random tear in the prison transport van, but in terms of like bawling their eyes out, no, because it's embarrassing. And I think that people I think that people miss that a lot. You're not going to do certain things because it's embarrassing. Like every time I talk about period products in prison, they're like, oh, if they don't want to give me a tampon, I'll bleed all over the floor. No, you won't, because you're going to ruin the one of 3 outfits that you have, and you're always going to be the crazy person that bled on the floor. Like, I get it, but you won't. Well, I have seen someone shit their pants to get out of work, so maybe someone would, but you don't want to be labeled your entire prison stay as the girl that bled on the floor because she was mad over a tampon. Like, you don't want to be that person, because people don't forget. People don't forget. This assumption is that it's quite gossipy. That is an understatement. 100%. Inmates gossip, the guards gossip with each other. There is not a prison in America that doesn't know why most of the other people are there, who's doing what, if there are relationships, who's dating who, like whose husband's mad at them. Like, they know all of it. They know every single thing that's going on in that prison, the prison next to them, a prison 4 states over. Like, inmates are very, very connected, and you wouldn't think that, but like they are. They know everything that's going on everywhere in the world, in the prison. Inmates know everything about all of it, all the gossip, all the news. It's kind of impressive when you think about it, that they know just literally fucking everything. The next assumption is that you have to fight the biggest guy on the first day. No, you don't. I don't know who keeps telling people this crazy stuff, but no, you don't. And that's the dumbest thing that you can do, because you're going to go straight to the hole, or you're going to get your ass kicked for like no reason. I guess the reason would be respect, but just be respectful and we will respect you back. Like, you don't have to beat up some random person because they're big. Like, what the fuck did they do? Nothing. If you do that, no one's going to think, oh, it's because they were told to fight the big guy. No, they're going to think you're an asshole and you're going to go to SAG. The next one is that prison's really loud. Yes, it is so loud. It is so... Solitary confinement is the loudest shit you'll ever hear. But yeah, prison's loud, especially because there's like, 50 people in one unit and it echoes like crazy. So like, yeah, shit is loud. Shit is loud. You have to know when to shut the fuck up, because if you're too loud and you're being disrespectful, guess what happens? Someone's going to kick your ass. Like, that's just where we're at. Prison is boring. No, incorrect. Kind of. That's half true. So prison is not boring. County jail is boring because you don't do anything. And I'll explain the difference in a second. Prison, you're busy. You have a job. You have shit to do, places to go. There's a beauty shop, haircut room. There's a rec yard with grass that you're going to go to a couple of times a day. Like, there's stuff. You're doing stuff all day long, whether you're at your job, classes, like GED classes or anger management classes, or like you're moving around. You're doing a bunch of stuff every single day. It's not that boring. There are boring moments, there are boring times, but yeah, you're not just like sitting around. County jails are like lockdown facilities because anyone could be there, from like non-payment of fines to murder. So like, we're all there waiting to go to prison or go home. So county jail is typically somewhere that you go for a short amount of time while you're waiting to be sentenced or bailed out or found innocent. No one really ever is. Prison is where you spend a longer duration of time, and it is like a city. It's like a city. So prison's not boring, in my opinion, although there are boring moments. I would say jail is boring and miserable and terrible, and I pick prison over jail every single day. And that might sound backwards. It's not. County jail is the absolute fucking worst. The worst time that I've done is county jail. Trust me on that. Prison is better because you have more freedom. And doesn't that sound insane? That sounds completely backwards, kind of like our entire system. This assumption is that you almost always get bullied or R-word, and it's racist. Again, this goes back to my personal experience and the experience of my friends. Women don't segregate by race. It's not racist. The inmates are not going to be racist to each other, in my experience. Can the guards be? Yep. Again, from my experience, no, you're not automatically going to be bullied or raped. Can those things happen? Can inmates be, racist or sexually assault you or bully you? Yes, but that's not like an automatic for everyone. It's not like a rite of passage for prisoners or anything. So that is a myth. And it all comes back to respect. Be respectful, and we're going to respect you. This assumption is that inmates have pet roaches. Well, not specifically roaches, but yeah, they'll get like a pet beetle or like a grasshopper. Mouse, maybe, which if I see you with a mouse, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm terrified of mice. But yeah, a ladybug. They try to keep little things for pets because they miss their dog. I don't know. They want like a friend, a homie. But yes, inmates keep random things as their pet. And then if the guard finds it, they throw it away because guards are assholes sometimes. Okay, the last one is that there's a lot of stealing and inmates will leave shit out on purpose to see if someone is loyal. No, if you steal from me, it is going down. Like, stealing is not as common as you would think if we're all convicted criminals, right? We're all in prison. You would think that people are going to be stealing shit. They're not, for a lot of different reasons. One, you're going to get your ass kicked. Two, we have locks on our lockers, so that prevents a lot of it. And you don't want to be known as a thief because people will beat you up. So like, there's a lot of reasons why people will fight you in prison. If you move my stuff and it was by the TV, we're probably going to fight. If you steal from me, we're definitely going to fight. If you try to cut me in line, not okay. You try to sit on my bed, move. It's disrespectful. If you're on the top bunk and I'm on the bottom, and to get on the top bunk, you have to put your foot on the bunk, your shoe better be under the freaking mattress. Don't step on the mattress with your shoe or your foot at all, under the mattress. Like, there's a lot of prison etiquette that most people don't know. And what's funny is you kind of have to learn as you go. Like, it makes sense, right? Like, don't move my shit. People do. People do. And that's crazy. It would make sense. Like, don't cut me in line. But they do, to like talk to their girlfriend or just be crazy. And if you let it slide once, I'm going to beat you up in the day room and we're both going to go to solitary. You know what I mean? So, all right, you guys, that is the end of my list. Before I go, if you're struggling in addiction, I'm a partner with Groups Recover. I always leave my landing page and hotline number in the description box of every single video. They are both online and in-person treatment program. We're opening in a bunch of different states and expanding all the time. So click on the map and see if we are located in your state. They specialize on opioid addiction and they're 420 friendly and just an amazing team of people that believe in harm reduction. All right, you guys, I'm going to end today's video here. As always, I love you. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. Don't break the law. I can teach you about prison here, and I will see you guys in my next one.